After paying respects to my mother, alone, I came home and found a used condom in the trash can of our bedroom. My wife, Ye Qingying, and I had been married for 3 years, but for the past 2 years we hadn't been physically intimate. I was about to call and confront her when I saw a post on social media from her assistant. It read, "Last night's passionate you is the best birthday gift I've ever received, a Yingying." The photo showed Ye Qingying and Jiang Shuyuan kissing intimately in Central Square. I smiled bitterly, locked my phone, and for the first time stopped tracking her schedule. If she longed for freedom, I decided, I'd give it to her. But when I first saw that condom, it was like being struck by lightning. My knees gave out, and I nearly fell as the truth settled in, that she'd brought another man home. While I was away mourning my mother, hands trembling, I pulled out my phone and called her. She hung up immediately and sent a text. I told, "You, I'm on a business trip. Why are you being so difficult?" Even then, she kept lying. Just minutes earlier, her assistant had posted a video of her at Jiang Shuyuan's birthday celebration. In it, he was blowing out candles while she stood beside him. After the wish, she grabbed his neck and kissed him deeply. The comment section was full of congratulations and heart emojis for the couple. Today was the 10th anniversary of my mother's death. Ye Qingying had promised to come with me to visit her grave, but she stood me up, again, for Jiang Shuyuan. My grip on the phone tightened. That was the moment I felt something inside me finally die. In the 3 years we'd been married, I had never asked much of her. I knew her career was important, so I always tried to be supportive. I even stood alone at our wedding ceremony when she couldn't make it because of an international deal. I didn't blame her, not once. But this time, for my mother, I had begged her to come. At first, she said she was too busy, but after seeing how desperate I was, she agreed on the condition that we'd return to the city the same day. Before leaving, I asked her multiple times if she could make it, and each time she reassured me there would be no problem. But when the day came, she was gone. The only thing she left behind was a sticky note. "Urgent business trip, can't go home with you, be safe on the road." I was devastated. Still, I told myself, she's a busy woman. I even sent her a message reminding her to eat well. Thinking. About that now, I could only laugh at myself, while I was wholeheartedly thinking about her. She was having an affair. I sat frozen beside the trash can all night, from dusk till dawn. At daybreak, the sound of the front door lock made me look up. Ye Qingying stepped in and froze when she saw me. She clutched her chest and frowned. "Swan, why didn't you tell me you were coming back? Are you trying to scare me to death?" When I didn't respond, her impatience started to show. "Didn't you say you'd stay in our hometown with Dad for a few days? Why are you back so suddenly? Is Dad okay?" I sneered inwardly. She probably thought I wouldn't come back, so she brought someone home. The fact that she even remembered my father was surprising. Since my mom passed away, his health had declined. I'd tried many times to bring him to live with us, but he always refused. Ye Qingying seemed relieved by that. This time I had planned to stay a few days with him. But after one night, he told me he was fine and urged me to go back and take care of her, practically shooing me out. Ye Qingying squatted down in front of me, her voice soft. "Why aren't you saying anything? What are you doing just sitting?" "Here?" I looked at her face, still beautiful, but suddenly she felt like a stranger to me. I pointed at the trash can. "What is this?" I asked calmly. She followed my gaze and her face went pale. She rushed to pull the trash bag out and tossed it toward the door. "Ying Qiao is really out of line," she said indignantly. "I was away on a business trip and she insisted on staying over. I didn't know she'd bring her boyfriend." But her eyes never met mine. Then I noticed the faint hickeys on her collarbone. I chuckled. Her mind worked fast, pinning it all on. Her cousin! My laughter made her shift uncomfortably. "Swan," she said awkwardly. I nodded slowly and held out my hand. "What?" she asked, puzzled. Give me your phone. I'll message your cousin and let her know that next time she wants to bring her boyfriend over, she doesn't need to wait until I'm gone. I smiled gently, hand still out. Yi Qingying instinctively clutched her bag tighter. Her voice trembled. No, it's okay. I'll talk to Ying Qiao myself when I get the chance. I nodded again. She avoided my gaze, then suddenly stood up and walked to the bedside table. After a moment of hesitation, she turned back to me with a gift box in her hand. Swan, yesterday I met a client during my business trip and forgot to give you the gift I prepared earlier. I need to head out again. But the Qi Festival gift I promised you is on the table. Open it, see if you like it. Without waiting for a response, she fled the scene. If this had happened in the past, I probably would have been happy for days over a gift from her. But now, nothing. I patted my stiff legs, stood up, and walked to the table. The gift didn't even have proper wrapping, just a plain box. Inside was a thin silver chain. I looked closer and saw that the clasp was broken. I smiled bitterly, and just then, my gaze landed on a receipt tucked in the drawer. I picked up the receipt, and a cold wave washed over me. Ying Ying was truly a master at lying. She had bought 2 couples bracelets worth 6 figures, and yet what she gave me was the cheapest freebie that came with the purchase. I had been asking her for a long time, begging even, to get me an electronic watch to track my running data. She had promised to gift it to me for the Qixi Festival, but not only did she forget that promise, she tossed me a broken trinket from the pile of complimentary gifts. Was she really going to give those luxury couples bracelets to a client? I already knew the answer. Still, masochistically, I chased after her, stepping out in the soft morning light. That's when I saw her, Ying Ying, gently putting the bracelet around Jiang Shuyuan's wrist. Half her face was bathed in warm sunlight, glowing with a soft halo. He was holding the gift box, gazing at her with eyes full of tenderness. I exhaled, a quiet sigh. How romantic. They hadn't noticed me yet, and I stood there watching in silence until Jiang finally caught sight of me. His body stiffened for a second, but then he casually took Ying Ying's hand in his eyes fixed on her while his peripheral gaze flicked toward me. Thank you, Qing, he said softly. I really like the gift. As long as you like it, she replied sweetly. You don't know how long I spent picking the perfect bracelet just for you. Then she leaned in, hugging him playfully. My dear, you've worked so hard. He smiled and pinched her cheek, full of affection. Ying Ying raised her face proudly like a little girl flaunting her treasure. I couldn't take it anymore. I clapped slowly, sarcastically. What a loving couple. Ying Ying froze at the sound of my voice, then quickly let go of him and walked over to me with a forced smile. San, why are you here? She asked, reaching to hold my arm. I stepped back, avoiding her touch. Her hand froze in midair. You misunderstood, she tried to explain, her voice sounding helpless. Just what? I cut her off, smiling calmly, though my voice had turned to ice. You just gave the gift meant for your client to your little lover. Her eyes widened, stunned. San... Before she could say more, Jiang stepped up and wrapped a protective arm around her. Brother Yin, you're scaring Ying Ying, he said with a frown. I looked at the matching pair and shrugged. Relax. Ying Ying came to her senses and quickly pushed Jiang away, grabbing my arm. You've got it all wrong. Xu Yuan and I are just colleagues. Oh? I smiled, finally letting her touch me. I turned to Jiang, playful but bitter. You hear that? Colleagues. He clenched his fists at her words, jealousy flashing in his eyes. I laughed quietly. Silly me, I was just joking, I said. Of course you're colleagues. Don't cry, all right? It's the weekend. Since we're all here, why not go home together for a meal? Without waiting for their response, I walked up the stairs. Out of their sight, the fake smile fell from my face. I sat down on the sofa, scrolling through my phone, pretending not to care. Eventually, they showed up at the door. San, I just remembered, Ying Ying said quickly. There's a contract at the office that Shu Yuan needs to verify. She tried to push him out of the house. I stood up. He didn't drive, right? I'll take him. It'll be faster. I've already arranged for a cook, so a quick trip won't delay lunch. Her face stiffened. Awkward silence. What's wrong? I asked, pretending concern. Let's go. No need, Jiang said. The contract's already verified. Qing remembered wrong. I nodded. Ah, Qing. You almost made him take a pointless trip. That's not very responsible of you. As punishment, you'll host and cook for him tonight. I wanted them both to stay. I had my reasons. I was no longer just a heartbroken husband. I was gathering proof. After discovering her affair, I was furious, devastated. But once I calmed down, I realized I didn't care anymore. Ying had been distant from me for a long time. I'd already prepared myself for the possibility that she no longer loved me. Before I found out about the affair, I was still willing to try, still trying to save our marriage. But now? Now she had brought another man into our home, into our bed. That was unforgivable. Since our wedding, I had gradually withdrawn from the company, letting her take the lead. But now, instead of waiting for her to kick me out, I decided to act first. I would gather evidence and fight for what was rightfully mine. At the dinner table, Jiang kept bringing up the trash can in the bedroom, subtle jabs laced with meaning. Ying kept changing the subject every time. I watched her squirm, trying to play it off, and found it laughable. She wasn't ashamed of sleeping with him under our roof, yet still afraid of me finding out. Jiang kept acting sweet with her in front of me, throwing smug looks my way. I ignored it all. I just kept eating, acting like I hadn't noticed anything. That night felt unbearably long. After dinner, I used every excuse to keep them there. At midnight, I finally got up. I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight, I said casually. Just took melatonin, feeling drowsy. You two get some rest. I turned and left, but Ying followed me in. She closed the door, and to my shock, started undressing. Startled, I jumped up. What are you doing? There are guests in the house. She paused, confused. I walked over, gently ruffling her hair, the way I used to. Go watch a movie with Shu Yuan, I said. I just bought the latest projector. The sound system's amazing. She smiled and left without hesitation. Watching her walk away, not even glancing back, something in my chest twisted. I had picked out that projector for us, to watch romantic dramas together, but it didn't matter anymore. The night deepened. I sat up in bed, gazing out the window through the sheer curtains. From the living room came the sounds of a horror movie, but underneath, I could hear Ying's muffled moans and Jiang's heavy breathing. The terrifying movie sound effects couldn't drown out the betrayal in their voices. Tears welled in my eyes as memories of her innocent expressions flashed through my mind when she used to look at me like that. Now it all belonged to someone else. The hidden camera in the living room had recorded everything. I had what I needed. I should have been pleased, but I couldn't bring myself to smile. I sat there all night, upright and motionless, until early morning, when Ying walked in, smiling. She walked in and greeted me with a bright, "Good morning," but her smile faded the second she saw my bloodshot eyes. "San, you didn't sleep at all last night, did you?" I looked straight at her, my voice flat. "No, I didn't sleep." Then I stared into her eyes and slowly, clearly said, "Yi Qinging, let's get a divorce." She froze, her brows knitted together, disbelief etched across her face. The word divorce, coming from me, was something she clearly never imagined. It was like she was trying to see through my skin, past the surface, searching my soul for a crack. But there wasn't one anymore. Because, in our relationship, she always held the power. I'd loved her with every ounce of who I was. I would have given up everything for her. Traveled the world barefoot if she asked. And because of that love, I had begged her countless times not to leave me. begged her to promise she'd always love me back. She knew it. That's why she always felt so fearless, so entitled. Every time she hurt me, all she had to do was threaten divorce, and I'd break, crawl back, begging her to take it back. But not anymore. I've already drafted the divorce papers, I said calmly. Sign them. She didn't speak at first. Her eyes shifted slightly, lingering on the nightstand, and her hands curled slowly into fists. Susan, she said, her tone finally serious. You really want a divorce? Yes. I nodded. I've already signed them. Just sign, and let's not waste each other's time. Why? She whispered. I laughed softly. She really wasn't going to give up easily. Yeah, Chinging, drop the act. You think I don't know whose condom that was? I met her eyes without blinking. It wasn't yours. It was his. You love him so much? Fine, I'll step aside. There it was, a flicker of panic on her face. But it was gone in an instant, replaced by stubborn defiance. So what? You weren't even home. It was just a moment of weakness. Really? I replied, my tone even. You promised to go with me to visit my mother's grave, but you lied. Said you were on a business trip, and then you wouldn't even let me touch you, claiming you were saving yourself for Jiang Shuan. Her mouth opened slightly, but I didn't stop. Now it's just because I wasn't home? I took a step closer, looking her dead in the eye. Yi Qinging, is there anyone more shameless than you? My words struck. She snapped. You think you can maintain this lifestyle without me? She sneered. You've been out of touch with the real world for so long. Forget getting a job. You'll struggle to feed yourself. What, are you going to go leech off your 80-year-old dad? It was cruel, brutal. But more than anything, it was revealing. After all these years, I was finally seeing her for who she really was. I might not have gone to some Ivy League school, but I wasn't stupid. In college, I earned plenty of certifications. I had wide interests and a sharp mind. I gave up my career when we got married to support her. I chose a quiet life so she could shine. That's none of your concern, I said coldly. Just sign the papers. She stared at me, stunned. Then, rage boiling over, she shouted, You think you're getting a divorce? Dream on! She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I walked over, picked up the divorce papers, and locked them. In the cabinet. I knew it wouldn't be that easy. She'd gotten used to having me around as her free housekeeper, her obedient little shadow. Letting go of that wouldn't come easy to her. But that was fine. I'd show her how well I could live without her. Back. In college, I was one of the most popular guys. Confident, stylish, always surrounded by people. But she used to complain that I dressed too well, said she was afraid other girls would notice me. Don't dress so handsomely, she said. You're mine. And because I loved her, I listened. I toned it down. For years, I did everything to ease her so-called insecurities. I worried when she worked late, always saved money, never bought a single thing for myself. But that man was gone now. I drove straight to the mall and bought myself an entirely new wardrobe. Then I headed to the dive center. As I parked, my college junior He-Yu greeted me at the door. Senior, long time no see. You finally came out of hiding, I smiled. Yeah, life's been complicated. I'm just glad you're here. Honestly, with your looks, I hope you bring in some more female students, she teased. We both laughed. He-Yu Shushu was a close friend from college. We'd bonded over diving, even dreamed of diving the Great Barrier Reef one day. But when I got together with Ye Qinging, I cut ties with her, even though we were just friends. Ye Qinging didn't like it. Always suspicious. Eventually, I deleted Shushu's number after graduation. We hadn't spoken in years, but recently we reconnected, through a mutual friend. When she heard I was looking for work, she didn't hesitate, offered me a position right away. Since I hadn't been diving in a while, she assigned me to the beginner area to ease back in. I'd just put on my wetsuit when I saw her. Ye Qinging. She was lounging in the common area, laughing like nothing had happened, her eyes twinkling at Jiang Shuan, who, of course, was wearing nothing but swim trunks. Her smile was wide, carefree, until she saw me. The smile died. She stood up quickly and walked over. "Who are you trying to impress wearing all that?" she snapped. I looked down at the completely zipped wetsuit, deadpan, then rolled my eyes. Jiang Shuan came up behind her, voice thick, with sarcasm. Well, fancy seeing you here, San. Never thought I'd see a house husband at a dive center. It's not exactly cheap, you know." I didn't say a word. My eyes were on the ring on his finger, the same kind of ring I used to wear when I believed in forever. It was a high-end ring from a niche brand. I remembered seeing it in Qingying's online shopping cart a long time ago. Foolishly, I thought it was for me. But now it was on Jiang Shuyuan's finger, a fitting symbol. It seemed things were getting serious between them. "Senior, how's it going? Feeling like your college days again?" Shushu approached in her wetsuit, smiling. "Maybe I should pretend to be a new student so you can practice on me." "You're working here as a diving instructor?" Jiang Shuyuan asked, astonished. "Isn't it obvious? He's going to be our star instructor," Shushu replied proudly. "San, you spend all your time in the kitchen. What can you possibly teach? Anyone about diving? Did you buy your certification?" Jiang Shuyuan sneered. "Even if I did, what's it to you?" I replied coolly. "Why don't you pay for a lesson, Jiang Shuyuan, and I'll show you exactly what I can do." Shushu chuckled. "Don't be salty just because you're jealous." Jiang Shuyuan's face flushed purple. Ye Qingying frowned at me. I didn't care. I grabbed Shushu and quickly led her to the water. After a while of diving, Shushu praised me. "Senior, you're a natural. You've got real talent for this." For the first time in a long time, I felt genuinely happy. I was relying on my own hands to live, and that feeling, it was empowering. After the trial training ended, Shushu walked me to the parking lot and suggested we grab dinner together. I was about to say yes when Ye Qingying suddenly appeared and grabbed my arm. "No need to trouble yourself," she said coldly to Shushu. "We, as husband and wife, will eat at home." She emphasized husband and wife with a pointed look. I frowned instinctively. Ye Qingying shoved me into a sleek black SUV. As soon as I sat down, I caught a strong scent of soapberries. "It's a new car," she explained, blushing. "I haven't had time to air it out." "A car worth over $1 million and you haven't aired it out?" I sneered, not bothering to expose her lie. "You dragged me here. Shouldn't Jiang Shuyuan be jealous?" I rested my elbow on the window and looked at her teasingly. "Susan, that's enough." She was irritated, then sighed and softened, her tone. "I was wrong to argue with you. I made a mistake. I won't make excuses, but I promise I'll break up with him. Let's try again. Let's live well together." If she had said that last night, maybe a part of me would have believed her. But now? I didn't believe a single word. "No," I said firmly. "I've already signed the divorce agreement. It's just waiting for your signature. If you're having a hard time, I won't force you. But we'll see each other in court." Her hands tightened on the steering wheel and her face darkened. "Susan, my patience is limited. I've already lowered myself to coax you. What more do you want? Don't think that just because you got a job as a coach, you're something special. You need to learn to stay in your place," I scoffed. "Ye Qingying, I have nothing more to say to you." I forced her to stop the car and took a taxi straight to a 5-star hotel. There, I sent the video evidence of her affair to my college roommate, Du. When he heard what had happened, he was furious. "Sign and don't worry," he said over the phone. "I'll make sure this cheating woman goes bankrupt." "Thank you," I replied quietly. Hearing his angry voice gave me a headache. Another failed conversation with Ye Qingying. She hadn't contacted me in a while, but Jiang Shuyuan's social media told the whole story. Ye Qingying had suddenly found time to travel with him, posts from all over the country. They looked like a couple deeply in love, eating, laughing, living together. Strangely, I didn't feel sad. Instead, I was full of energy, focused on rebuilding. Once I became financially independent, I'd go on a free, unburdened trip, too. Lived my days simply, commuting between home and work, calm, light, and happy. Just when I was about to forget she ever existed, I saw her again, at a classmate's wedding. Qingjing was dressed to the nines that day, one might have mistaken. Her for the bride. Jiang Suyuan was right behind her. I glanced at him and immediately recognized the outfit. Qingjing had gifted it to me on our wedding day. Qingjing's eyes locked onto me and didn't let go. I frowned uncomfortably. Jiang Shuyuan grinned and walked over with her. Brother Yin, I heard you and Qingjing are filing for divorce. You don't mind me accompanying her to the wedding, right? Do whatever you like, I said flatly, handing over my gift and turning to leave. Susan, I thought you were just throwing a tantrum. Are you seriously doing this? Qingjing chased after me, grabbing my arm. I shook her off. You two are in love. I'm just stepping aside. Isn't that what you wanted? She looked stunned, staring at me with angry eyes. Brother Yin, Jiang Shuyuan suddenly added with a smug smile. I forgot to mention, Qingjing is already pregnant with our child. Seeing her and I pulling at each other, Jiang Shuyuan panicked and rushed over, wrapping his arm around Qingjing's waist in a show of dominance. Shut up, Qingjing snapped at him. I looked at her flat stomach and smiled. Congratulations. I had once hoped that a small life born between me and her would come into our home. But that hope had been dashed again and again. Now she was pregnant with someone else's child. And honestly, I wasn't sad at all. In fact, I was relieved. Because with this child's existence, the divorce settlement would be even more substantial. The wedding began. On stage, the newlyweds exchanged vows, the ring slowly sliding onto the bride's finger. I remembered my one-man wedding with Qingjing, how I had begged her to put aside her business and celebrate it with me just once. But even knowing my hopes, she had taken off her dress and left me behind without a second glance. Sine, we can still have another wedding if you want, she whispered, suddenly appearing beside me, leaning on my shoulder. I jerked away. Ye Qingjing, get away from me! You disgust me! She froze, tears forming in her eyes. I'm so angry. If I knew I'd run into you, I wouldn't have... Come! I glared at her, furious. Then I turned and walked away without a word. San! San, wait for me! She cried, chasing me down. She stopped me, wrapping her arms tightly around my waist. San, what's wrong with you? Do you really not care about me anymore? Did you see the wedding dress I'm wearing today? I wore it especially for you. She sobbed miserably in my arms, her delicate makeup smudged, tears streaking down her cheeks. But I no longer felt the pull I once did. Not pity, not love, only peace. I pushed her away roughly and frowned without thinking. Why should I care about you? Ye Qingjing, you're crying so dramatically. Do you really see yourself as the victim here? Wearing a wedding dress to someone else's wedding? That's just disgusting. San, how can you say that to me? She looked at me with tears in her eyes. So what was I supposed to say? I hope you and Yang Shuyuan have a happy marriage, and 2 kids and that one pregnancy of yours. San, don't be like this. Ye Qingjing shook her head, sobbing. I was with Jiang Shu just to prove that you still love me. I was stunned. How could she say something so lacking in self-respect and so pretentious at the same time? Did she really think that after seeing her get close to another man, I'd still cry and beg her not to leave me like before? How ridiculous. Ye Qingjing, you don't need to go through all this. I don't care anymore. You should just take good care of your pregnancy, all right? A classmate of mine runs a postpartum center. If you need it, I can refer you. And you'll get a 20% discount. I said that and started to walk away. But she shamelessly clung to me again, wrapping her arms around me and sobbing uncontrollably. Honestly, it would be unrealistic to say her regretful crying didn't move me at all. If it were before, I would have hugged her and comforted her carefully. But now the disgust I felt outweighed whatever tiny bit of pity I had left. I let her hold me and said calmly, Ye Qingjing, if you regret it so much, why did you cheat in the first place? She trembled in my arms until Jiang Shu came running over and pulled her away. Only then was I able to get free. Don't be so smug, Susini, Jiang Shu said furiously. Qing's already pregnant with our child. You're going to get kicked out soon. I looked at the furious Jiang Shu, speechless. Well, you should persuade Ye Qinging to sign the papers quickly. Otherwise, I'll have to sue. Half a month. Passed. Just when I thought Ye Qinging would finally sign, she showed up again. That day, after work, I was walking to the parking lot chatting and laughing with Isushu. Then I looked up and saw Ye Qinging waiting by my car. Our eyes met, and my expression instantly turned cold. Ye Qinging, I hope you're here with good news. Ye Qinging kept glancing nervously at Isushu, biting her lip, looking upset. San, can we talk in private? I have something important to tell you. You have something important to tell me? Shouldn't important things be told to Jiang Shuin? I said sarcastically. She sobbed. Sen Yin, I'm sorry. I'll pay more attention to you from now on. I still decided to go with Ye Qinging. We had been married for years, and she'd always been cold and distant with me. We'd even reached the point of divorce, so I wanted to see what trick she had up her sleeve. Ye Qinging insisted on driving to show off. I wasn't in the mood to argue over the driver's seat, so I sat in the back and scrolled through my phone. She looked at me through the rearview mirror, hesitating. Spit it out, I said. Senan, why aren't you fighting to be my driver anymore? Hearing that just showed how low I used to be. I used to be her dedicated lapdog, and she never cherished it. I cared for her wholeheartedly, worried if she was cold or hot. I practically fed her myself. Now, just because I refuse to drive, she has something to say? I put on my earphones and ignored her. Ye Qinging started the engine, tears welling up in her eyes. She drove me to a restaurant I'd mentioned wanting to try many times. As soon as we entered, she hugged me. Senan, today is our 3rd wedding anniversary. I specially booked this restaurant for you. Are you happy? I pushed her away in disgust. Ye Qinging, I'm not Jiang Shu. Don't act like this with me. She stumbled back a few steps, then regained her balance, her eyes full of sadness. Senan, why have you changed? You never used to treat me like this. So you know that was the past. Also, our 3rd anniversary was last month, not today. Ye Qinging's face turned pale when she heard me. She used to care for me a little. She once swore she'd spend the rest of her life with me. But now, all that's left is a mess. It's time for this marriage to end. It's okay. I remember it. This time I definitely won't forget our 4th wedding anniversary. Don't you like diving? I'll take time off and take you abroad to dive, okay? Ye Qinging wiped away her tears and pulled out a medical report from her bag. Sinan, look, I've already gotten rid of that bastard child, and this is for you. She took out a beautifully wrapped gift box and presented it to me like it was a treasure. Didn't you want a digital watch? I bought one for you. I opened the box and saw the expensive digital watch inside. I had begged her to get it for me on Valentine's Day, but she pretended not to hear me and casually tossed me a broken silver bracelet instead. I closed the box and threw it in the trash. Sen Yen, didn't you beg me to buy this for you for so long? Why are you doing this? Why are you hurting me? Yes, Qi. Qinging hurriedly bent down to pick it up, tears streaming down her face. Expired things should be thrown in the trash, shouldn't they? Ye Qinging understood the meaning behind my words. She looked up at me with teary eyes. She knew better than anyone else that she was no longer worthy of my concern. The girl who used to talk to me about everything, who shared dreams of a beautiful future, was gone. In the years after our marriage, she devoted herself wholeheartedly to the outside world. I looked at her face and couldn't reconcile it with the 20-year-old girl I remembered. Ye Qinging, let's just end it here. Don't bother me anymore. Ye Qinging's tears burst out. She cried in despair. Senan, forgive me one more time. I'll change. I opened my mouth to speak, but her phone rang, breaking the tense atmosphere. She took out her phone, and I clearly saw the caller ID. Peaceful and far-reaching. I laughed out loud. Peaceful and far-reaching. She regarded Jiang Shu as someone who could make her calm, focused, and capable of achieving great things. How nice. Ye Qinging hesitated for a moment, but still, she answered the call. From the other end came the sound of rushing wind. Chi-Wei, where are you? Don't do anything stupid. I'm coming right now. Ye Qingying suddenly stood up, looking at me apologetically. Sen Yin, Xuan is having a moment. I can't just watch him do something crazy. Wait for me, I'll be right back. I nodded. Go ahead, I'll wait. With those words, Ye Qingying hurried out. I didn't follow her, but I didn't leave either. I stepped out of the private room she'd booked and went back to the main dining area. See Yin! Over here! Isushu waved to me from a table by the window. I walked over with a smile. What a coincidence. Not a coincidence, she teased. I followed you guys here on purpose. I looked her in the eye, then quickly looked away. Chush, don't joke like that. Ah, just kidding. I'm a regular here. I come for a big meal every few days. Just as we were finishing up, Ye Qingying entered the restaurant with a haggard-looking Zhang Shuyuan. Seeing me, Ye Qingying immediately let go of Zhang Shuyuan's hand and walked over. Sanan, listen. Xuan was feeling down, so I thought I'd bring him here for a meal. I didn't mean to not tell you beforehand, she spoke incoherently. I nodded cooperatively. It's fine. You had our child aborted without telling me, so you should apologize to him. We're getting a divorce. You didn't need to report to me before, and you definitely don't need to now. I smiled sincerely. I really don't mind. Ningguo glared. You're really something. You cheat on Qing with a rich woman and brainwash her into aborting our child. How can you be so vicious? Yang Xuan rushed toward me like a madman. Ye Qingying slapped him hard. Shut up. Then she looked at me and Isushu with hostility. Is it because of her that you insist on divorcing me? I chuckled. Ye Qingying, you're so dirty-minded. You see everything dirty. Qingying, I told you, he's not worth it. He didn't answer directly because he was guilty. Zhang Xuan glared at me resentfully. Ye Qingying angrily raised her hand to hit Isushu. I stopped her and slapped her back. Then I took Isushu's hand and raised it defiantly. You're right. I'm with Isushu now. What are you going to do about it? Ye Qingying was so angry she flipped the table. I shielded Isushu and walked out of the restaurant. Shushu, I'm sorry. I let go of Isushu's hand and scratched my head awkwardly. It's okay. It was actually kind of fun to help you deal with those two scumbags. She blushed slightly and looked down at her toes. I smiled helplessly. That night, just as I was lying down, I got a call from Ye Qingying. I hung up, but she called again. After several attempts, I was wide awake and sat up in anger. As soon as I answered, I heard the sound of wind. Ye Qingying slurred drunkenly. Sen Yin, I'm on the rooftop of our house looking at the stars. The stars are so beautiful tonight. Do you think I'll really become a star if I jump? I got up, put on a coat, and rushed to her place, still furious. I knew Ye Qingying was shameless, but I didn't know she was this shameless, copying Zhang Shuwen's suicide threat. When I arrived, Ye Qingying already had 1 foot over the edge. Don't move! My heart leapt into my throat as I rushed over and pulled her back. We fell to the ground. Ye Qingying suddenly started laughing softly. Her laughter turned into a cry, her voice full of despair. Sanan, let's start over, okay? Don't leave me and don't be with someone else. Ye Qingying, you're overreacting. It's my freedom to be with whoever I want. You have no right to interfere. I pushed her away, stood up, and brushed off the dust. Ye Qingying, I really don't understand you. You love Zhang Shuyuan so much. Why are you still clinging to me? She looked at me obsessively, tears streaming down her face. It's not like that, Sanan. I've always loved you. I was just blinded by lust and did something I shouldn't have. I really know I was wrong. Please forgive me. Okay, it's too late. What's the point of forgiving you? We can't go back. I looked at her crying face calmly, without a trace of emotion. She cried as if she wanted to shed all the tears of her life, curling up and sobbing uncontrollably. Sanan, I know you don't believe me anymore, but I really regretted it after I cheated. I comforted myself that it was just this once, that you wouldn't find out, and that I would return to our family and be a good wife to you. But she couldn't continue. Her voice was replaced by sorrowful sobs. So since you made a mistake, just keep going. I really don't care anymore. As I turned to leave, I said my last words to her. Ye Qinging, don't use these tricks to test my sincerity again. Next time, I'll call the police to collect your body. After that day, I lost contact with Ye Qinging, but I started receiving anonymous postcards. The pictures on them were from various diving spots around the world. I casually tucked the postcards into a book and carried on with my routine life. Until, one day, the court called me to inform me of the hearing date. On the same day I received that call, I saw Ye Qinging again. She looked thin, and her sallow complexion showed her health was failing, but I just glanced at her and walked past. Sinan, this is for you. She didn't chase after me. She just spoke softly behind me. Sinan, I'm setting you free. I took the divorce agreement she had signed, looked through the contents, and was shocked. You're giving me all the company shares and all your assets? Yes. It's all yours. She smiled peacefully, looked at me deeply for a moment, and then left. I watched her receding figure, feeling like something was about to happen. The day after I received the divorce certificate, Jiang Xuan told me Ye Qinging had died of lung cancer. Qingjing asked me to tell you, Susan Yin, she's sorry. She loved you very much. Jiang Xuan swallowed hard, his voice choked with sobs. She also asked me to tell you not to feel burdened. Her diagnosis of late-stage lung cancer was her retribution. You don't need to attend her funeral. I gripped my phone tightly and answered softly. Just when I thought Jiang Xuan wouldn't speak again, he said, Su Yin, I'm not convinced. In the next life, I'll definitely meet Qinging before you do. Then I wish you all the best in advance. Only, the busy tone remained on the phone. I suppressed the last bit of nostalgic tears and raised my beer to toast to freedom.